So now actually in a funny way, streaming has become the technology that can really give India a chance to become a global soft power with the content that we have, that we make. India often tends to fall back on its sort of comfort zone that we have such a large domestic market. Netflix is the gold standard, and what Netflix does, it's like how America is, that if America sneezes, the world catches a cold. So in that sense, Netflix is the gold standard and they are back to their winning ways. So that's good. In the creative business especially, you can't become 70%. Anybody thinks I'm going to be a monopolistic player, that's not true. When streaming came along and all the ads were removed, one fundamental thing it did is it disrupted the rhythm of writing. Okay. Because now you're not writing to a break. So I think attention span also is a function of attention. Right? It is about what you want to do, when you want to do, and how you want to do it. I mean, we have imagined AI before AI could be made. Right? We are actually waiting for science to catch up with us. So I don't see AI as any kind of threat. It's like a tool.
Hello and welcome to the Media Room. Sameer Nair is the man most responsible for bringing Kaun, Banega, Crorepati and all the Saas, Bahu serials to Indian TV screens. He was programming head for Star India and later its CEO. At some point in 2007, he quit to set up Imagine with NDTV. He's headed Balaji Telefilms before joining the Aditya Birla Group's Applause Entertainment in 2017. Applause has developed and showcased some of the most watched shows in India, from Criminal Justice and Scam 1992 and Scam 2003, Office, and most recently Black Warrant. It also went on to showcase Gandhi, its upcoming show at the Toronto International Film Festival recently. Applause has hit a size of about 150 crore, but it also hit scale and variety in a business where it's very tough to scale up. That's the reason I sat down with Sameer recently to talk about everything from streaming, his greenlighting process, AI, and also his days at Star. Hi Sameer, welcome to the Media Room. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much.
I think I've interviewed you in so many avatars over the last 20 odd years now.
25
that we've
years.
known 25
yeah.
years actually. We met first on the sets of KBC.
Yes.
I was just, penning down my background. I said we met on the sets of KBC.
Right.
That's the first
That's
time.
25 years ago.
That is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So Sameer, you've just come back from the Toronto International Film Festival. You all showcased, I think, 2 episodes of Gandhi there. Will you tell us something a bit about that experience and why TIFF and what would it mean for the show?
Well, we've been working on the show for the last 3-4 years, and sometime around, I think, February or March, we'd finished shooting. We are in post now, and Hansal mentioned this, that we should take go to TIFF and show the first 2 episodes at a global platform. We are making a global show. It is a show about the most famous Indian ever, and the most famous person of the 20th century, if you will. Correct. And a global icon. So we thought, that's a good idea. So we actually applied to TIFF. The way it works at TIFF is that you don't just land up there and show things. You have to apply and they have to select you. So that's what we did. Ansel said, let's do it. And I said, okay, cool. So we sent it and we applied and then waited for 2-3 months because you have to wait. And then we got the news that we'd been selected. So that was, of course, a big deal in our life, because the first time an Indian series is being showcased at TIFF. Okay. Before this, they've done some international series. Normally, they don't do series, but they've done some international series in the past. So it's the first time an Indian series has been doing. So we're really excited about that.
And did Zugato also show?
That was a movie.
Yeah, I know, but it was your movie.
Yeah, it was our movie. So that was 2 years ago. Hansal has been there twice before with, I think, Shahid and I think Aligarh.
Okay.
And this was the first time that I was going, though Zugato had gone a couple of years back. So we went. It was really wonderful. See, TIFF is a really prestigious international film festival. It is one of the top 5 globally, of the big names. It's got a really eclectic crowd. It attracts a really interesting audience of people. They're all cinephiles. Quite a welcoming and warm audience in that sense.
Yeah.
And really well put together. TIFF is clockwork efficiency. Yeah. Really slick, smooth, works really well. Lots of activities, lots of things, lots of good minds basically. So we are super excited. We went there. We dressed up and we did our little red carpet moment.
What does it do for the show?
What it does actually for the show, we want in all honesty, for us going to TIFF was to be able to showcase it on a global platform to a new audience that has got no correlation with what we have done, what we are doing, nothing.
Correct.
It's not like a regular, it's not like it was not intended to be a platform screening. It was just a screening at a festival. It attracts that kind of people, different types of people. The other thing was, of course, to put it on the map. To get selected at TIFF was a big deal. So we were able to make a big noise about it. There's so much conversation about now making India a global soft power, about, putting India on the world stage, all of that, which is why in many ways, we think Gandhi fits the bill, because that's why we set out to make it.
Correct.
To make a story that is, which will resonate with a global audience, not just an Indian audience. And so we thought the best way for the world to become aware of Gandhi and to see what we are doing is to start off at an international film festival. And TIFF was the perfect place for us.
Is Gandhi a global show in that sense because of the character? But did you set out to make a global show, or it is because of character? Is it an Indian show, or is it a show with a Western gaze?
No, we are Indians making it.
Yeah.
So it's an Indian show.
Completely.
In fact, I would think that when Attenborough made his movie, Attenborough made a movie. He made it like almost 40 years ago now.
Correct.
And at that time, it was made in a particular way. He tried to fit the feature film format.
Correct.
Funnily enough, my father used to work in NFDC at the time when NFDC produced Gandhi.
Oh, really?
So I have seen Gandhi in trial rooms in Nehru Center.
I saw it in the theatre in 83.
So, but when we set out to make Gandhi, our approach was a little different. We knew always that we were making a show for the world, not just an Indian show. We bought the rights to Goa's books.
Correct.
In fact, I signed Pratik before we signed Hansal. Pratik was signed first, then we announced it, then Hansal called me and said, how can you do this without me? So I said, well, come on board. And we went on from there. So the idea always has been is that Gandhi as a character is obviously for us father of nation and all of that, but he is also a global icon. It is a story of India that can be easily told to the rest of the world because it's a familiar name, so it could travel well. And also we wanted to tell a deeply personal story. So we are not telling the story of Gandhi the Great. We are actually telling the story of Mohan.
Correct.
And
I saw that
that's
in the
the sort of our big deal. So it's really a story about a human being who goes on to become the Mahatma or whatever. It is not the Mahatma story. Attenborough's movie was very much the reverential lens to it.
Correct.
We don't have a reverential lens in that sense. We have a more human lens. It's how we tell stories.
Correct.
We're telling the stories about human beings and their times and how it sort of works and operates. We have compared it in an earlier interview to, like The Crown, how The Crown told the story of the British monarchy over many decades. So in many ways, this is a similar kind of a storytelling of many decades of the Indian independence movement centered around Gandhi. So yeah, I mean, and just somebody asked me that, so is it similar? So I said, well, it can't be similar because The Crown is obviously the story of the rich and famous colonizers, and this is the story of the colonized.
On the other side.
So obviously it's different. But that being said, it's a very nice story. It's a very personal story.
I really look forward to it. The reason I started with Gandhi is one of the things is. We keep talking about streaming and, everybody says this. I think Vivek Kutto said it first, that streaming offers us our KBC moment. And it's a show you're familiar with of all the people.
Right.
That, it gives us a window to the world. It is homogenized access to a great deal, made access far easier. So India should be, let's say, in the same level as a Korea or something else. But should we be targeting those markets? Should we be looking at those markets? Or should we be making shows? And everybody I speak to says, we need to make shows for our market or films for our market. And if it works, it works. But Gandhi is one such subject. So for example, if I took a Black Warrant, criminal justice, of course, is a global show which you've remade. But is it tough to take a show global? How tough is it? And the reason Gandhi looks very easy going global
it's not
is because
easy.
of the
Actually,
subject.
we don't ever make anything for a global audience.
No?
There's no such thing. Nobody does it. Squid Game was not made for a global audience. Money Heist was not made for a global audience. Narcos was not made for a global audience. You always make a show for your own domestic market or your home country, so to say. And then some shows break out. Not all shows. So it's also a myth that, America over the last 100 years has built this, the American soft power across the world. And not just in entertainment. They've done it in fast food.
Defense.
They've done it in brands, in defense, in you name it. That's why they are the boss of the world.
Correct.
Imposing tariffs left, right and center, doing all sorts of things. So they are the boss. So for India to become a global soft power, it would require us to take our stories to the world. What the streamer now allows is that it's made it easier to do that.
Correct.
Previously, when we had to do that, if you made a movie and you wanted to take it abroad, you had to find theater chains, you had to find markets, you had to do it's a process.
Very
TV
tough.
was difficult. So now, actually, in a funny way, streaming has become the technology that can really give India a chance to become a global soft power with the content that we have, that we make. In order to do that, though, what we need to do, and we've always seen it every time, is that we need to be telling stories, we need to be making content of a standard that matches the international quality. When we talk so much about the Koreans actually make very good quality content, right? And they have taken that and really built that up. The Americans, a bad American film looks better than any other thing, right? Because they make it at that scale and that quality standard. I think that's going to be an important challenge for India. India often tends to fall back on its, sort of comfort zone that we have such a large domestic market and we have such a poor domestic market that we can make any old crap and it sort of flies here and becomes much success and applauded. And then that becomes the standard. But then what happens is that cannot really go abroad. That can't really travel because, it's of a certain quality. So I think that quality of storytelling, quality of writing, quality of production, just meeting those standards, because on a streamer, you are next to international content.
Give us a sense of where applause is right now within the broader M&E media and entertainment ecosystem. And also, you mentioned Gandhi. What are the other shows? I mean, Black Warrant was your big one this year, I think.
Black Warrant happened. There was
Tanaav
Criminal Justice Season 5 that happened. The Hunt happened on Sony Live.
Lovely show, by the way.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where we're at is that now we're about 8 years old now. We've produced, I think, over 60 shows. We made about 4 or 5 movies. We've done some documentaries, which are in fact going to hopefully release now. So we've been creating content, running our business in this unique manner that we do, this applause hub and spoke model and, a little bit first of our kind of situation. And I think it's been good. It's been really good. We've got a chance to produce a lot of variety. Lots of different things. We do Tamil, we're doing Hindi, obviously. We've done some very interesting collaborations. The larger market saw the big boom, then saw the COVID sort of boom actually, and then the sort of crunch after that. And now it's sort of seeming to come back. There have been mergers and consolidations. There's been a divorce that was to happen, but a marriage that didn't happen, all of that. So all of these obviously caused little push and pull. A lot of the international players who were supposed to come here didn't come here. So they sort of, didn't come back. So the market's gone through one little bit of a turbulent phase. But I think things are settling down now. The Hollywood strikes are long over. Things are settled. Netflix is back to its winning ways. And since Netflix is the sort of gold standard for whatever happens in the streaming business.
Not Apple TV?
No, not Apple TV. Netflix is the gold standard. Okay. And what Netflix does, it's like how America is, that if America sneezes, the world catches a cold. So in that sense, Netflix is the gold standard and they're back to their winning ways. So that's good. And hopefully now everyone sort of, gets energized. See, because the thing is that whatever said and done, TV is the last century's medium, right? So now while it's going through its motions and, it's still a very live and vibrant kind of situation, but it's declining. It is moving on now. If TV did 200 million homes with an average of 4 people per home, 800 million people in India were reached with TV. I think the next time around when we reach 1 billion people, it'll be by streaming, right? It'll be via internet technology. Because I don't think TV anyway shrunk, right, from its 200 million, right? So what happens is that what streaming now needs to do, if it is the technology of the future and if it is the current go-to, what everyone is doing, social media is growing that way, TikTok has grown that way, YouTube has grown that way, everything is driven by internet connectivity. I think the streaming business really needs to now capitalize on the opportunity that's presented itself. There are 1 billion Indians who are connected and who can be connected thanks to Jio. And there is an opportunity to now entertain these 1 billion Indians who have been fed on a very robust and energetic TV industry from the last 30 years, right? Who have seen the best quality television from across the world, not just Indian. You've seen news, sport, everything. This is an audience that is ready, willing, able, and pretty, huge appetite. So this is the opportunity to do that. We've got to actually transition the entire TV business onto the streaming business.
No, you're talking about 125 million streaming subscribers. So we're talking roughly, let's say, factor of 3 le lo, 300, 350 million odd audience. And if I take the TV universe as a parallel, we are talking, the shrunk TV universe is closer to 650 million people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That the shrunk TV audience and the streaming audience can get to 1 billion consumers. Now, we are a 1.5 billion people.
What will it take?
What will it take is to essentially provide great content to a large number of customers in different languages, different genres, and different things to do.
Why is that push not happening, Sameer?
No, it is. I would argue. I think it is happening. It is happening in different ways. And it's happening. Like, for example, you take IPL. IPL is a prime example. IPL is the most popular viewed piece of content in India. It is the best possible quality of cricket that you can see. It assembles the world's best in a circus that goes on for a month and a half. It is it is content creation at its possibly the highest quality.
It's a gladiator of the modern age.
It's beautiful. And it's put out there to audiences, maybe free, maybe at some 29 rupee price or whatever. And it gets huge viewership. At some, I think at last count in the last IPL, there was something about some match reached 54 crore concurrent viewers if Jio's number is to be taken at face value. It's incredible. Now, why is that happening? Why are 54 crore people actually watching it? Because it is of that quality, because it is of that standard. If you have to approach it and say, India, the poor market, 1 billion Indians, let's show them the Dadar versus Matunga Open. I don't think that's going to work. Nobody is going to watch. Just because someone is poor doesn't mean you give them crap.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right? There is something known as self-respect and dignity. And that is the basis to entertainment. See, if you remember in the old days, we used to be in theaters, we used to watch movies. So if you didn't have so much money, you bought lower stalls.
Correct.
If you had a little more money, you bought upper stalls. You went to balcony, dress circle, and then if you're the big man's friend, you're in the box. But everyone in the darkened audience is watching Amitabh Bachchan. Everyone in the darkened audience is watching Shah Rukh Khan. And everyone is equally the fan. Right? Just because I bought a 10 rupee ticket doesn't make me any less a fan. Right? The people who hang around outside Mannat and Galaxy and Jalsa are people who are not it's not you and me, right?
Correct.
We are not the ones hanging around outside Mannat, right? But the people who hang around Mannat should be able to go and see movies in theaters. They are the ones who drive these fandom.
I so agree with you.
Yeah? What we are doing unwittingly in this business is that we are eliminating audiences. Correct. We are eliminating stardom. We are eliminating fandom. We are eliminating moments of entertainment exuberance. We are trying to flatten it out. We're trying to follow some sort of...
Pricing is at fault or scale is not happening? I'm not getting that.
I think it's a combination. Pricing is that on the one hand, theaters are shutting because we are saying that theaters are clamping down. It has been said famously that theaters are dead and therefore theaters are not required, and now streaming is the solution to all ills. But the thing is that if you think theaters are dead, then movies are dead, right? Because where are you going to show the movies, right? When a movie like Pushpa or RR gets made, they do a business of 1,000 crores. Is any streamer going to pay 1,000 crores for that movie? They can't, and they shouldn't. So you should therefore have multiple revenue streams, multiple avenues. How do you create stardom? One thing that does, while streaming is brilliant because you can watch it anytime, anywhere.
Correct.
The reverse is it removes that moment of a cultural moment. You used to have tonight at 9 for KBC. If you missed it, you didn't see it.
Correct.
Now you can see it at 9:30. Now you can see it at 10:30. You can see it the next day.
Correct.
Right? So these are different things that are going on. So I just think that this entertainment business for India especially, and if you look at the world, look at how Hollywood has created a global moment. Look at how Koreans have done it. Look at how many people are doing it. We have a real opportunity to genuinely flex. After 100 years of sort of essentially playing catch up and we were always...
This is our moment in time?
It could be. Technology is allowing you to do that now. Technology is allowing you to do that. I think the country has, in a sense, 20, 25 years of liberalization has also prospered. We've made even more progress. The current dispensation has such a sort of, what shall we say, buoyant and confident outlook. I mean, recently at Waves, this whole thing about the orange economy and about making this sector of ours, right? This sector of ours, I think we are some $5-10 billion sector currently.
29 billion.
29 billion. The stated aim was that in the next 10 years, we should make it $100 billion sector. It is an entirely possible thing if you spend money to earn money.
But Sameer, okay, now let me come back to the micro here for a minute. Applause. What is the, you have this model where you don't do commission stuff. You develop stuff from scratch and then you say, okay, now who wants this? I'll fix. Now that's a model which is totally different from what everybody else does. Everybody does largely commission. Is that easier to scale up with that model? What kind of conflicts, pros or cons does it have, if I was to put it quickly?
It's quite simple actually. The pros and cons, not so much about pros and cons. It is the way we are working is that we are actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting. We are doing a lot of the research and development.
Correct.
We are doing all of that stuff and we're actually coming to you with finished product. We are making your life easier as a platform because you've just got to look at it and say yes or no.
Correct.
It's a simple decision to take. So in a sense, we complement the business, right, for everyone. What it does for us is obviously it creates risk because if I make something and if you don't like it, then that's not so good. And what the reward is that I get to retain IP, I get to retain control, I get some ease of working, those kind of things. So I don't think that's how movies were made all along.
Correct.
Last 100 years movies. So we are not so different. We just happen to be making series. Otherwise, we are a movie studio. Now, what happens is that while we are doing, and we are a small player.
Correct.
I mean, in the sense of the larger scheme of things, even if I make 20 shows a year, it'll still be about 6-7% of the market size.
Absolutely.
Which is also the way it should be. You know, that no, I don't think in the creative business especially, you can't become 70%. Anybody thinks I'm going to be a monopolistic player. That's not true. So I think from our scheme of things, we are responding to the market. So when the market was in a crunch scenario in the last 2 years, we crunched as well. So we were really zooming in 22, 23, 24 was slower because people were buying less, people were doing less, all of that was happening. And now as things are picking up, we are picking up again.
That explains what I saw, the fall in revenues for Applause over the last couple of years.
It's a function of market.
Of what's happening.
We can't do much. Like if like I think 3 players went away, 2 players merged,
correct,
and 2 did not get married. And so it's one little bit of a...
Demand side has consolidated, supply side remains fragmented.
It remains. So it's just that. But that being said, I don't think that changes anything because honestly, the real barometer of this business is whether we are going to get to that 100 billion industry size or not.
Something has to happen to scale it up.
Something will happen to scale it up. So either streaming technology will be... Already streaming technology and the opportunities are there. Hopefully so. Because... See, either the phones itself will change, the connectivity will change, data will become... See, India has already got really cheap data. So, India has already got really cheap data. So, I don't know whether data becoming cheaper is the solution.
No, I don't think that... and I see a lot of streaming guys... What I term it as is the linearization of streaming I can see happening. A lot of ad-supported programming coming. Netflix is 12 markets with the ad tier.
Right.
I think 1/4 of all streaming revenues in the US now come from ad-supported stuff. In India also the growth is going to YouTube and DD Free Dish. You can't see a lot of growth in terms of audience numbers on the pay this thing. And therefore you're right, absolutely right, that some disruption has to happen somewhere. And that disruption cannot be only ad-supported programming.
Yeah, I think, see, ad-supported is, any case you want to do... Let me tell you, I'll give you an example from a content point of view. See, when we were doing TV, right, there was a way of writing for TV. And TV, we used to write 2 ad breaks, right? There was a rhythm.
Correct.
There's a rhythm in the writing and you write a segment and the segment goes to what we used to call a segment high point. Then you go into ad break. Then you come back from the ad break and continue from there. And then you go like that, 2-3 segments and you come to the episodic high point. And then you come to weekly high point, as in whatever sequence you're following. When streaming came along and all the ads were removed, one fundamental thing it did is it disrupted the rhythm of writing. Because now you're not writing to a break.
Correct.
When you're not writing to a break, you're writing in a different rhythm, right? It's quite basic, but it's quite profound. Now what happens is that after spending 10 years or 15 years of doing streaming writing and writing everything in that manner, you come and say, all of a sudden, now we're going to have ad breaks, right? It requires a retooling. It needs to be written. You can't insert ads. Absolutely. Right? When people say programmatic ad break, there's no such thing as programmatic ad break.
Correct.
TV had a very science to it.
Correct.
There was a science to it.
Point.
You wrote it at a point and you say like, oh my God, you open it and Bhabhi, aap, cut. That's the break. You can't just put it anywhere and go on. So now even the rewriting of this material, creating of this material, the costing of all of this, how much does content cost to make? What's the right price? Like how much should it cost? So in the last 7-8 years, a lot of prices went skyrocketing because everyone, the drunken sailor syndrome. So everyone paid a lot of money. for things. Now when everyone's cutting back, so currently it's a flux, right? But whatever it is, whatever is the right price and whatever is the right way, I think for India especially, the opportunity is to make really high quality content and
Volumes.
distribute it to the widest possible audience.
At scale, correct.
That's
Absolutely.
our opportunity.
Absolutely.
We cannot say that because we are, see, for us now, in any other business, I get it, that the bottom of the pyramid is cheap and broke and therefore it's too bad. And so you make the sachet. Right? I get it. Any other business, consumer business, I get it.
Absolutely.
But in entertainment, there is no such thing as bottom of the pyramid and top of the pyramid. The richest man in India and the poorest man in India are both Shah Rukh Khan fans. And that is a very basic thing. That's why cricket operates like that. You cannot, when Bumrah bowls, the richest man in India and the poorest man in India applaud Bumrah's bowling. A Bumrah rocker, the Bumrah.
Fantastic insight.
And it is really true. So there is no bottom of the pyramid and base of the pyramid.
So the pyramid thing doesn't apply to this business.
It is a billion people, 1.5 billion people, if you remove the edges out of it, 1 billion people. And 1 billion people can be equally entertained. Right? The capacity to pay might be different, but they can be entertained equally. And if you can create high quality content which is affordable to all, right? Which is affordable to all. Some people pay more. How did TV work? When by the time we got all the Tata Skies and all of that stuff, I think our average payout used to be 500, 700 rupees a month. Correct. The cable operator was still giving the house next to my house at 150. And if that guy couldn't pay 1 month, he didn't cut his cable. He said, chalo, next month, main adjust kar lenge. So that rationalization of price happened. That's why TV became so democratic. That's why it went everywhere, right? And that's what should be done, because I think when KBC happened, it was not only the rich people watching KBC. Everyone watched KBC. Amitabh Bachchan was asking questions and answers to everyone.
So interesting you're saying this, because you're telling me that streaming has democratized access, but it hasn't democratized pricing. Is that access है मेरे को कोई भी device पे मेरे को access मिल जाएगा.
See, it should.
But I cannot afford it.
No, you cannot afford it. So therefore, it should be made affordable for you. That's one, which I think Jio Hotstar is doing. They are making it affordable. Now, when it has become affordable, the question is, what am I watching now? Right? If it's going to be a catch-up TV, then I'm anyway seeing it on TV. So why am I paying for two devices? Barabar. If it is going to be, now also I have spent 25 years seeing TV, right? I have spent 25 years seeing content. There's an aspirational level in everyone, right? So then everyone's life should improve. Right? The quality of content should take you up, not dumb you down. So if that is the plan, then that's how it grows, right? If you shut down theaters and say, but movies should become more cost effective and more better, and how will it be? You actually need that many more screens.
70% of revenues come from there.
Yeah. So I mean, like if India is now down to 9,000 screens. We should be at 70,000 screens. And we have to find a way. And it's got to be us. Us, when I say us, it's not me or you. It is us as an industry and as a country. Absolutely. That how do we get ease of doing business? How do we get single window clearance? How do we get all those things in place? And how do we open screens in every possible place? So that, see, the retail revenue is out there. Everyone says that nobody goes to theaters. Half the places you go to India, they don't have a theater. If you open a theater, they'll go and see a movie and have 100 rupee ticket. Don't go and open a multiplex there and sell Armani shoes in wherever, don't do that. So I think the opportunity is there, and this is the market. And see, all the big guys are anyway doing retail. They're anyway doing retail. So what does it take to, along with the retail store, to have 3 screens? Correct. It takes nothing to do that. That is how you build, and now even film distribution has become so much easier because of the digital distribution. Correct. So in many ways, all the problems we had in the past, in the last century, distribution, technology, electricity, it's all gone. We are in this new world, and I think the opportunity is there.
I was telling someone that this whole thing of ticket prices are too high, ये है वो, ये सब सिकुड़े हुए market के arguments हैं. You reach 30,000 screens, the same screens will come down to 100 rupees a ticket. There's a company called SVF Entertainment. You know them. They saw their earnings dip. They said, boss, we need to be within Bengal. That's how they do largely Bengali. They have Hoichoi. Okay. They started taking old screens. They have revived 53 screens. Their box office has doubled.
Exactly.
And they say we've gone to places where theatres are completely shut down. So zero se revenue 20, 25, 30 lakh. That's how you're absolutely. I cannot agree with you.
And it has to be built that way, because if you build it that way, then what happens is that you get more and more people into the fold. See, in many ways, in 2000, if you remember, the number of satellite TV homes was 25 million, right? So number I remember because I made the presentations.
To Rupert Murdoch, as we remember. Right?
And then we went from there. KBC happened, Kyunki happened. We really upped the game. We took the content spend up by like 20x, 30x. KBC got produced at that time at 1 crore an episode. 1 crore an episode to make a 1 hour show is absurd in 2000. Kyunki Kahani very quickly went up into the 20s and 30 lakhs. So as we took that market up, we kept adding subscribers also, right?
You were developing the market.
We were growing
expanding the market.
And as we were doing that, many people, sort of got added into the net. The aim today should be that if the streaming universe is, suppose we say the streaming universe is approximately, say, 150 million paying subs in whatever shape and form, and say about 400 million free viewing who are just watching. We should take that and make that into 500 million paying subs. That should be the stated goal. 500 million paying subs, and paying affordably. Paying what you can afford. And you can have tiers, you can have this thing. There are so many ways. That's how I said, lower stall, upper stall, balcony, dress circle. You have your thing to do.
So the thinking has to be expand the market.
You have to expand
the market. Uske bina growth nahi hai na?
Because I'm saying we should get to that 45, 55 crore IPL viewers concurrently.
Absolutely.
We should get to that number. That is 550 million.
We should get to that 150, 200 million paying homes.
Yeah, we should get to that. And then build from there.
Ek cheez hai, when you're talking about storytelling, I'm going to come back to it. There's a deluge. I mean, you and I, we've grown up with the satellite TV ecosystem. But there's a deluge, and there's a deluge short form, long form, theatrical, and now there's a new entrant called microdrama. So time is splintered. As a consumer, I think we are one of the most pampered consumers, probably, especially if you're in a metro, you're one of the most pampered. But what is a challenge that means for storytellers, especially for storytellers like Applause or for anybody else in this ecosystem? Because you have the consumer doesn't think of you, ye ke Applause ka show hai, ya fiction hai, ya ye long form hai. Consumer is just scrolling.
True.
Whether he's scrolling on his phone or whether he's surfing on his TV. What challenges does it bring for the storyteller? For a firm like Applause?
Yeah. Well, you know what? First of all, a human being is a creature of moods. So the way we see it is that all of us have our moods. There is a time for snacking. There's time for a meal. There's a time for comfort. There's a time for excitement. There's a time for, a thrill. There are different things happening. So when we are trying to tell stories, our sense is that in a way we are not competing. See, the human being, as you said, the human being does not care about this is an Applause show or not an Applause show. I am doing what I am doing.
Correct.
If something interests me, I will give it its time. Right? So like people always say that, attention spans have shrunk so much, and the younger generation today, 8 seconds, they don't have time for anything. But I have a 17-year-old daughter who spends 4 hours talking to her friend on the phone. I'm saying, what happened to the attention span? Right? Like, what are you at 3 in the morning? Something is going on. When you're in love, right? You can be talking to your loved one for an extended period of time. You should get bored. You don't have attention span, like you should, but you don't. So I think attention span also is a function of attention. Right? It is about what you want to do, when you want to do, and how you want to do it. And the good thing is that when we were younger, we had lesser options. Now people have more options. But even in that, people are still doing it. When you sit and watch a cricket match for 3 hours, you're watching a cricket match for 3 hours. There's 3 hours of much activity happening. What happened to the attention span then? Right? So I think all of it coexists. What is happening is different formats are coming up. So like I think movies will be movies. We will still make movies. You will still have that experience. Series we make, dramas we make. Now micro dramas have come. What is a microdrama? Microdrama actually is a scene.
Correct.
It's a collection of scenes, right? But then there's a science to it. A lot of people are saying, okay, we're making a daily soap, let's cut it into 90 seconds and make it into microdrama. That is not a microdrama. Correct. A microdrama is a start, middle and end of a story in 90 seconds. And then start, middle and end of a story, and it's written to that rhythm. It's got to be written to a very specific rhythm, much like how we used to write TV. So when that episode ends, you are forced to scroll. You're forced to go to the next one. Otherwise, you can't. A micro drama doesn't work. It's not
But Sameer, ये writing में हमारे पास इतना talent training है. I always think that you mentioned about TV and the rhythm moving to streaming, and now if streaming goes to ad-supported one, again to micro dramas. Do we have that body of talent, and is anybody spending on that kind of development or training? I always wonder about that.
See, I think that's a chicken and egg. So really, no one ever really. I mean, Korea has done it, but Korea is a small country, and they did it in the manner they did it, as in it was a government-sponsored effort.
Correct.
To create what is called K-pop, K-drama, all of that. But otherwise, in the rest of the world, what happens is that it's driven by the quality of content. So when you make better content, then the content creator and the distributor, the platform, they end up in hiring or getting better people to do it. Right? So the quality improves in that sense. Like Indians in general have always made the best movies in Southeast Asia. Right? All of South Asia, we have been. Like apart from the US, we've been the greatest, most prolific filmmakers. Why is the reason for that? It's because we are big market and we make better films. Better people are doing it. So I think in that sense, I think the quality of creators has improved a lot. There's lots of good people doing lots of good work. It is a question of having that collective goal. We have to get to 70,000 screens. We have to get to a $100 billion market. We have to become a global soft power. We have to take our stories, all over the world. It should reverberate. And in order to do that, we have to make better quality content. We have to make it. And that automatically then results in, because see, newer generations keep coming, right? Everyone's going, studying, learning how to do it. So like when in the earlier days, you could come from FTI or you were just a natural, right? Today, almost every second kid we hire has done some form of film and television studies.
Correct.
There are lots of Whistling Woods is there. There's so many institutes everywhere. So many people are doing it. So I don't think the lack of skill or knowledge is a problem. It's a question of how much resource you can put to it.
There is a whole debate around, and when you talk about scale, on using AI to scale up.
Right.
Now, you can use AI in the process part of it, whether it's workflows, dubbing, subbing, all of that. And there is a whole thing of AI in the creative process. Where are you on that? What is your thinking? And is there any conflict in your head on using AI on the creative side of it?
No, not at all. Actually, see, AI, I think the entertainment industry has always been open to technology.
Correct.
From the start. So, the days of Buster Keaton doing physical gags for his movies, to Star Wars, to Interstellar, I mean, we have imagined AI before AI could be made.
Correct.
Right? We are actually waiting for science to catch up with us. We've already been to the edge of a black hole, and Christopher Nolan has told us what the black hole is. So,
or the fifth dimension.
Yeah, we know. Tesseract and all, we know all that. Now the question is, maybe the scientists can catch up with us. So I don't see AI as any kind of threat. It's like a tool. When Excel came along in 98, when Excel came along, I'll tell you, let me finish. When Excel came along, it helped you do mathematical calculations easier. It revolutionized the whole finance industry, right? The guy who used to write and make accounts and the importance to remember numbers and do addition and subtraction suddenly got changed overnight because you could just drag, drop and copy and you get your multiplication done. It was a tool. Now the whole industry operates on that. Nobody is going back and sitting and saying, we want to sit down and physically calculate anything. Similarly, now when it's arrived into our lives, there are many good things it's doing, right? And it's learning. It's getting better with each time. You see so many AI generated videos now, right? That they're trying to get to a lifelike situation. It's taking time because they can't get lip sync right, you can't get finger movement right. There are lots of problems. But even after all of that is done, assuming it becomes, I was speaking to at one of these AI conferences. So the person was saying that, this AI is, we've created these wonderful tools and we're going to democratize it and it's going to be available to all. So then how do you think it is going to affect creators like you all? So I said, well, I don't know what's there, because at the end of the day, while all AI might be equal, all creators are not. That's like saying that just because there are paints and brushes, everyone is a painter.
Correct.
You're not a painter. So that means then AI then becomes a tool. So if there are these wonderful tools available, I think better creators will be even better creators. It will make us Superman out of us.
No, totally with you on that. But there is this whole thing of training AI on copyrighted material, especially generative
Real
AI.
issues. Real
So,
issues.
and that is, I think that is the thing which, whether it's the newspaper business, whether it is writers, whether it is filmmakers, I think that's the thing that is worrying. Because so somebody told me I can train AI to write like Salman Rushdie or Ian McEwan. And I'm like, then why should they be creating original stuff in the first
True.
place? So there is a complete denial of the fact that copyrighted material is being used to train generative AI.
See,
and that is where I'm coming from properly.
See, the thing is that we find ourselves in a place now
Huh.
where when by the time the issue is being raised, the horses have bolted a long time back. If you think about internet in general and therefore internet search, it is based on piracy, right? Because if you go searching for something, have they taken your permission to find you? They haven't, right? They haven't. If I go and search for Vanita Kohli, I will find something about you. Have they taken your permission? No. It is available. It's there, what we call public domain. This is all the stuff that's available there. And when the internet first came along, we all welcomed it. We were all happy. We were happy that, wow, what a brilliant, miraculous, invention this is, and I can find this and I can find that. And over the last 30 years, the internet has collected a lot of information. All the tech companies now working with each other, combining all this info, all of this stuff, all the social media, everything is all there. Now, when all the books have been uploaded, we were rejoicing when Kindle came along. No one objected to that. Everyone was happy. They said, oh, it's all there. Half the time when you say, hey, I've got a beautiful book, buy it. Before I can recommend the name, somebody sends me a PDF of the book on WhatsApp saying, why bother buying it? Here's a ripped off copy of the book, right? It's happening. So now when all of that is happening, all of this is available, this is one more layer to our great progress, right? Where you say that, listen, I can write a book like Salman Rushdie. So now there's a lot of dispute about this, and there will be litigation. Like a lot of actors are anyway taking action, saying you can't do imitations, you can't, which is rightfully so. I'm saying if you want to do a imitation of Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan, you should pay them.
Absolutely.
Pay them and do this. That way they won't have to come to shoot. You can make your movie. They get their money, everyone's happy, right? So it can be done. So, I mean, these are real problems, but these real problems have existed, and they will, I think Google is trying to now present their new model where they say that all the AI that you use, their tools, are copyright cleared, right? So that's the promise, that you can use any music, any this, any that is copyright cleared, which means they paid for it. That makes them obviously the most expensive of the service. But that's a method. And I think things will find its way. I mean, water finds its level in these things.
What attracts you to a show or a piece of program? What's your greenlighting process of thinking or philosophy? Is there an applause way or is it just organic?
No, I think, it's not. See, I think I do a lot of watching and listening in any case. So I'm anyway seeing everything that's being made, seeing what people are doing. We listen to a lot of social signals. We talk to a lot of platforms. So we, in general, have a good sense of, what people are watching, what they're doing, why they're doing it. Then the next thing from that comes is that when we hear an idea, it should grab us first because it starts with an audience of one. So when somebody tells us an idea, if I read a book, I must like it first. And if I like it, then I might want to make it and tell more people about it. So the idea is that because that's how ideas propagate. I tell you something, you tell more people, and it goes from there. So the selection of an idea that, we ought to make this, ought to make that, must pass that first filter. That, oh, this is so interesting, we must, let's talk.
Are you the right filter? Aren't you a sort of aware audience, sated palate in that sense?
No, not at all.
No.
We are very good filters. I am, in fact, a very good filter because I read all sorts of things, I see all sorts of things, and I'm drawn to everything. And then also what happens is the creative process is such that it's not that from idea to screen happens instantaneously.
Correct.
There are lots of moving parts, there are lots of people involved.
Correct.
So even if I like an idea, I'll go and tell 5 colleagues of mine and say, hey, listen, this is a great idea, let's do it. The next step would be to try and flesh it out. It could fail there. The next step would be to write it out. It could fail there. The next step would be, let's try and cast it. It could fail there. Let's try and budget it. It could fail there. Finally, let's go and pitch it to a platform and see if anyone else likes it. It could fail there. So there are many processes and there are many points of failure, right? So ideas don't just like I thought about it and let's make it. It's not like that. There are many moving parts. And also ideas have this shape-shifting ability. So you start out with something and then as you, like when we were making Gandhi, so we bought Ram Goa's books. They are the most definitive biographies of Mahatma Gandhi. He is the most respected historian of Gandhi. Bought the books, read the books, big thick tomes, read the books. Our process then became, we were looking to find Mohan in the book. Right? So that's our process now. So we have taken the books, everything is there in it. Now we are looking to find Mohan. Now when we finally written one screenplay, Pratik Gandhi acts in it, Hansal Mehta directs it, and it becomes a real fly on the wall of a Gujarati household in 1888. Now that's considerably different from where we started out, right? Now you're suddenly to a squabbling brothers in a Gujarati household in 1888. That's where we've reached. And now you get that sense of that time. And that is coming alive. So that is storytelling.
That I found even in Scam 92 or Scam 2003.
Yeah. Look at Black Warren. Look at Hunt. You've not seen Hunt yet. You must watch Hunt.
I've seen Hunt. Rajiv Gandhi Assassin.
Yeah.
I saw
I love to say that about Hunt, that we spent a lot of money so that you could see the dark, hot,
it's such a 80s
humid
look. It's such a 80s look.
We spent a lot of money to get that dark, hot, humid
Safari
Chennai. That look ke liye itna kuch karna pada. Because it's got to come alive. So that's how it works. So our approach to storytelling is, obviously, there must be some reason to tell this story. Why should people hear it? Like there's this thing about, that I have a story to tell. But the more important thing is that you need story listeners.
Correct.
Right? We are all great storytellers, but somebody's got to listen. And if you don't get a large number of people to listen to your story, then you're not successful. Absolutely. So I think it takes a process, and we make mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes.
Sameer Nair of 2000 or even of the 90s, who did those interstitials on TV, and of 2000 who greenlit or who put KBC together, I think from scratch, from thinking of Siddharth Basu and Amitabh Bachchan. And you stuck to your guns. You got Amitabh, spent 3 months and got him. To Kyunki and getting Ekta on board, doing the daily. And you're the guy who got India addicted to daily soap. So we blame you for the idiot box that television became. To the Sameer Nair of now, who's done Zagato, Gandhi, Scam, who's the man who's greenlit? What is, if I look, you've been a part of this continuum in India's journey, India's discovery of entertainment on screen. Are there 2-3 things which stand out in your head, whether it is on the creative side, on the business side? What is a Sameer Nair from then to now? How is he different?
I don't know. I don't know what is different.
No?
I don't
It's
know
the
what's
same
different.
guy?
Yeah, I
It
think
can't
it's the
be,
same.
yaar.
No, I think it's maybe more grown up, more mature. I mean, I made more mistakes, so I've learned more. Maybe I've become a little more cooler and calmer about things. I also know so many more things that I can possibly approach it differently. But I think as far as creativity, the business of creativity and storytelling go, I think a lot of first principles I have found keep reappearing and keep getting reapplied. Like I remember, when we used to do interstitial programming on Star movies, and I've interviewed so many people. I've interviewed Amitabh Bachchan, I've interviewed filmmakers, I've met Shah Rukh Khan on the blind school terrace at Worli for a movie called Chahat. So it's like pretty obscure. So even from that time, there was like one simple thing, an old Bollywood trope used to be ki, acha, the moral of the story kya hai? Right? It's such a simple thing, right? Ki, what's the moral of the story? Why are you telling me the story and what's the moral of the story? Many people seem to have forgotten that. When you finally finish seeing something, you say, okay, so what's the moral of the story? There is no moral. So why is there? Because when an audience is leaving, finishing something, it's that, what's that one thing that you've left me with? What's the feeling that I want you to have, right? Like again, when we make movies, when we make shows, it is about me saying, I'm inviting you into my world. I'm asking you to immerse yourself into my world. Commit so much time to me. So how am I doing it? How am I going to be telling this story? Even when we did reality television, when we made Laughter Challenge, when we did even a Coffee with Karan. Coffee with Karan was so distinctive to Rendezvous with Simi Garewal. We were anyway doing Rendezvous with Simi Garewal. So Coffee with Karan was really that, okay, she does her thing, you come and do your thing. You come and bring your friends and you'll chat. It became into an iconic show. It's still going on, right?
Season 8 or 9.
It started from that thought that just bring your pals and don't be Simi. So you don't do what she does, because she does a more definitive Barbara Walters kind of thing, So I think all of these ideas, all of these things that come up, always come up. Even the stuff we are doing now, Scam, Black Warren, even if you take Gandhi, it comes from this thing about, I think it's important. I think it's important to do contemporary history. Totally. I think we should know more about ourselves, because the more we know about ourselves, the better it is. So we do that. So I think the good thing for me has been that I have remained this sort of learner, and whatever I've learned, thankfully I haven't forgotten. So I remember, I
Wonderful.
remember the errors and the missteps
Yeah.
and things like
You
that.
told me once that you're like this. The creative business is being and a producer or whatever is, or the head of this company is like being a potter.
Yeah.
You have to keep your hand
Hands,
in the clay, otherwise it's all
the
sort of
the sleeves
splinters.
rolled up and hands in the mud, and and you got to keep it, because the minute you take your hands off, it's gone. I cannot tell you how optimistic I am about the future. I think at the point where we are right now, it's truly, it's in that moment. The thing is that because there's so many other things going on, that we sometimes get distracted, because there's business and there's politics and there's geopolitics and all that drama going on. But the fact of the matter is that we can't take the storytelling out of our lives.
Correct.
Right? We can't take that. So people have to be entertained. People have to be informed. People have to be, if you suddenly take away, if you switch off internet today, I think we'll have a revolution. Right? I think
what happened in Nepal?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have a revolution. If you suddenly switch on and say, okay, band karo ye sab. No, let us all become sanskari and stop and start praying or something. I think we'll have a problem. So I think that's the opportunity, that we can we can do so many things better. What we couldn't do before, we can do now. And that's what we should do. We should all do that. I'm super chuffed about all that.
Fantastic. So on that optimistic note, thank you so much, Sameer, for
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
patience.
No,
because
no,
I think
thank you so
I'm
much.
just asking what I feel like asking. I don't think I've gone through my questionnaire thoroughly, but I'm just asking you. Thank you so much for being on the media.
Thank you so much.